is back. It is yours truly, the Drip King, Jimmy Bebe, the return of the crown to wrestle, buddy. And I brought my boys with me. So, with nothing further to do, the most important part of this here, guys, start with you, Tidy, to the right of me. Boom, it works still. I like that. How the heck have you been? How have you been enjoying wrestling, good sir?
I've been good, but I told you a little bit earlier, got a new job, which was backed up by a new job. So it's been from having a job for 17 years of this like 8 to 6 p.m. thing. I mean, that's gone, man. I'm working nights now. So I've been catching wrestling where I can, fast forwarding through parts, honestly, just to give me the meat, give me the story sometimes. So like I big gaps these last 2 months, working this new job. I caught up on as much as I can. I'm a little upset that I didn't get to watch SmackDown because I'm a Hulu guy. That's how I'm living. So they don't have it on there anymore. I thought I'd be able to go back and watch the SmackDown I missed the last almost 3 weeks of. So I'm upset a little bit, but you know what? I'll be back on track.
Wait,
very soon.
It's not on there anymore. What's up with that?
Because it's got moved to USA now. So isn't SmackDown got moved to
Raw's
USA?
Been on USA,
so that's kind of the reason.
Yeah. That's weird because Raw's on USA, and I've been able to watch it on Hulu a few times.
Well, Raw, yes.
And NXT.
Raw I can watch, and that's what I caught up on today. But SmackDown, no. I tried to catch the rest of it today, and SmackDown is no longer on Hulu.
Ooh, I might have to hook you up with something to help you out there. But
they got
glad to have you back.
USA got
glad to have you back, Titan.
SmackDown, so I should be good.
Okay. As long as we get it situated, I gotta help the people out. Albert, obviously you've moved into some kind of Playboy mansion over there. You're living life good over there since we last seen you. Obviously, you've been using your extra time for good use. Other than moving on up, how the heck have you been? How have you been enjoying your wrestling?
Man, I gotta say that I think since the last time that we've done one of these shows together, the product's just gotten better and better and better. And we were talking about it when it was really, really good. So, I mean, I'm loving everything. It's great. It's great to be a wrestling fan right now. It's not fun to be an internet wrestling fan, but it's great to be a pro wrestling fan.
I enjoy being an internet wrestling fan because it's just funny sometimes. That's how I look at it.
I like that you do embrace that side of it. I wish that I could embrace it and not be so angry when I see some people say some really, really stupid things. But I've also now, like, I've tried to type out and then just delete what I'm going to say and then just back up. Like, all right, I got it out of my system. I don't even have to hit post. Goodbye.
I just kind of try and liken it to not to be political here because I am not a political person here at all. But I'll just say, like, Trump, I think, is just the person. Nothing politics. Just the person. I think is an idiot, but he's funny, and that's the enjoyment I get out of it. That's what I try to look at with it. So with internet wrestling fans, I'm like, yeah, they're stupid, but man, they are so funny, man. They are so.
I mean,
funny.
You're not wrong there.
That's how I've embraced it, and I think that's what's helped me kind of chill out with it. But that's that. Now it's time to get. There's no meat and potatoes to this show. This is just we're getting our feet wet back in the business and just kind of shooting the shit today. That's what we'll be doing. So, with that said, I have a few topics on my mind that I want to kind of run down. Albert, I'll let you go first here this time. Is there anything in particular that you would like to discuss?
Let's see. As of right now, all right. Let's start. Let's start here. What have we all thought of Cody Rhodes' reign so far?
Thank you. That was one of my topics. There we go. I'll let Tidy think about this one, and I'll go because I was actually prepared for this. I think it's been. Let's go ahead and do the Dave Meltzer 5-star scale here for Cody's run. I'll go ahead and I'll give it a 4 because I think there's not been a massive story, which I think is kind of hurt it in the eyes of a lot of people. But every match is delivered. I loved the Kevin Owens angle he ran. That was more Kevin Owens than it was Cody, but Cody played a role in it as well, and he nailed it. He did a very good job with it. He's presented like a champion. This is a thing for people. The ratings haven't plummeted. Like, people were like, oh, well, so that's a good thing. He's still the king of WWE. So it's like, how could we say it's a bad one when nothing has really suffered? The quality of the show is still there. He's having great matches. That's what we expect for our champion. And he's there every week, which is what the people's complaint was for our last guy. So 4, maybe even a 4.25 star rating on Cody Rhodes' run so far.
See, I was going to go with 5 because I would say it's average. It's right down the middle. It's been good. It's made sense. It's been good for what we wanted to see out of a Cody Rhodes run, but there's just the big story does seem to be lacking. And Courtney's in the chat. She points out the fact that we have Cody versus Solo in a steel cage on SmackDown. I have a feeling that's going to be a big transition point for this run, because if it's not, it has just felt very one note. It's been okay. He's the champion. He has contenders. He'll run through them, and the story will progress. And that's not technically a bad thing. I just think people were expecting a lot more out of Cody's reign, and we're in the very early stages of it. Hopefully, I don't think he's losing the title anytime soon. So hopefully they give him this big angle to put him really big, put a stamp on this run to give him, that big push,
Question. You said a 5. Is that 5 out of 5 or is that 5 out of 10?
5 out of 10.
Okay, mine's 4 out of 5. 4.25.
4 out of 5. Okay.
I'm using the Meltzer. I just want to make sure.
Okay, then I'd say 3. I'd say it's about 3. Yeah.
So a Nia Jax match. That's fine. I love Nia Jax. She's fantastic.
Look, and that's the thing. It's delivered. It was good. That's about it was good. It's meeting my expectations, but it didn't dazzle me, and that's where I'm at so far. There's nothing there so far that's dazzled me. Like you said, I love the whole thing with Kevin Owens, but it
was great.
It's a very one note story. You can't really do that all the time. It was a good good month-long story,
and
it
Kevin
does
Owens
feel like
the perfect dance partner for it. Literally the perfect dance partner for it.
Absolutely.
I will say my score would probably be a perfect 5 because the Bloodline, I think, is a significant story around the title. The reason I don't include it for Cody's reign and giving him the 5-star is because I don't think the story revolves around him, even though he's the champion. That's my only gripe there, but that's such a small gripe that I'm not going to be one of those people that I just was making fun of. So I'm just not going to do that.
Maybe that's what I'm saying. I think maybe this cage match is that next level that we're hoping that Bloodline feud gets to give us that. I mean, look, they could pull a swerve on us tomorrow, and just put the title on Solo. And
it's opening the show, so they won't do that.
Oh, it's open. Okay.
I hate to break it to you, but they did announce it. It is the opening of the show. Real quick before we go over to Tidy, Courtney, elaborate on what you meant about NXT last night. I'll shoot the shit on it. I'm fine with that. But Tidy, now it's your turn, sir. Is there anything in particular this way? There we go. Anything in particular that you would like to discuss about wrestling that you just haven't had the opportunity to do?
Well, real quick before I do, are you guys experiencing any video lag? Because you guys are on my screen, y'all are jumping all over the place, and it's a little bit of popping.
So you guys are jumping off the place on mine, but from the looks of it on the stream looks fine. But you look like you're jumping around, and he looks like he's jumping around. But on the stream, it looks fine. So
that's all that matters.
Yeah, on my end, looks fine. So I'll get over it then. My thing, I was thinking earlier about Cody Rhodes, and because I looked at him as like this ultimate, kind of baby face, but like I connect a lot with underdogs. So I'm gonna say his name again, Sami Zayn. And I was watching Sami Zayn. They're passionate, but it's like he truly is an underdog because he's never had that heavyweight title, etc. You can say the same thing about Cody, but the way he just pulls my emotions up, I cannot I mean, and I tried to compare it to Cody, but I couldn't because I haven't watched SmackDown the last 3 weeks almost. I've only seen snippets of it when I had time to. Again, adapting to my new work schedule, and try to still hang out
What
with
is up,
friends. And have a life.
Transatlantic Call?
It's been really hard. What?
Sorry, I was saying hey to someone in the chat.
Oh,
My
okay,
bad.
But yeah, I threw the roof because Raw had that confrontation with Gunther, and then had him turn around. I was like, man, Gunther's gonna do him like that and just drop the mic and walk out. And then he tells him, hey, you know, you're just scared because I'm the only one in WWE that's actually beat you. And it made Gunther turn around. And then the stuff with Bret Hart this week. So I believe in Sammy, and I know everybody's gonna say, hey, it's not that I get it, but it doesn't. It's the role for looks so convincing. I can have hope. He's done in the bloodline being killer as hell because of that, from doubts from January leading up to WrestleMania this year. It's a perfect Cinderella story. He always comes story because he actually has the backing of the WWE universe for what we've seen him do over the last 2 years. So, you know, I wish kind of in a sense, I wish Cody was in that position, but you know, he has the title. It's different. I'm just waiting for like real stories and challenges for him. And I didn't get to see what happened with Roman lately, so I can't even speak to that. So shit.
So have you seen Roman return at all?
I saw him return and like spear some people and shit. And then I haven't been able to really watch SmackDown since.
So you haven't seen him on SmackDown then? You just saw him on at SummerSlam? Or did you see him on SmackDown at all?
I swear he speared some people. Yeah, one time.
Yeah. Oh no, so he does Superman Punch solo at SummerSlam. Yeah, right. He destroyed them on that next SmackDown.
Right, he beats him up on the next SmackDown.
But then the next SmackDown, he comes on to Jacob Fatu appeared and murdered him.
Right.
Flat out just murdered.
He murdered
Jacob Fatu's bad.
He got the Shield triple powerbomb through a table and all. Yeah.
They did the Shield powerbomb through the table to Roman. And we haven't seen Roman since. So Roman sold his butt off like he does.
See, I saw those parts, so I'm good then. I just got to wait for him to come back. And
so that's why you haven't seen Roman on TV. That's literally the last we've seen of Roman. So, I guess I want to talk about Jacob Fatu if y'all have nothing else.
Sure. Just real quick, I just want to throw this out because what Andy just said. See, Andy, I think that we need the bloodline in here right now before the bloodline story breaks off the championship. I think this is the point where we need a major the bloodline to be the major threat until he completely rids himself of that threat. Roman comes back. We get the whole bloodline saga, back around the bloodline. Then that's when we need the next big guy to come up to challenge Cody. Like he's going to need his next big challenger then. I think after we finish the whole bloodline story and we wrap, then that's when it's be like, all right, like we finally did it. We beat him. And then, oh man, oh crap. Here we go.
So my only issue I don't know when Cody's going to break away from the bloodline. Because realistically, if you think about it, before Rock left, he said, next year, whether you're champion or not, you and me at WrestleMania. I think it's going to be Roman, Rock, Cody in a triple threat. That's what I think is going to happen. I think that helps Rock. It hides his part-timerness and his oldness right there. But I think that's the play. I think Roman's probably going to win the Royal Rumble, and that's what we're going to get. And then The Rock's just going to throw himself into it. Like, you can't forget that. So Cody's feuding with the bloodline now, and he's going to be feuding with the bloodline at WrestleMania. So it's like, when is he taking a break from that? And who is he going to, like, he would probably have like a one-off challenger maybe in between all that, but bloodline's still involved in some way. So that's my only issue with the bloodline and Cody stuff. I don't think he's going to be breaking away from it until after WrestleMania. And that's when Randy Orton appears. But maybe he'll be wrong. Oh, what was that? So yeah, that's my take on the Cody. I agree that he needs something outside the bloodline, Andy, 100%. I just don't see it happening anytime soon, unfortunately. And that's why, again, I can't give him the perfect 5-star Meltzer rating on his run. But since we're talking about bloodline now, I'm going into the Jacob Fatu talk because I don't think I have ever seen a person in wrestling that is more like he appears. Everything about this man scares the living hell out of him. I'm more scared of him than I ever was with Brock Lesnar. That's how scary Jacob Fatu is. And Tidy, how much of Jacob Fatu have you seen?
Stuff, but I've seen everything he's been involved in since he came to WWE.
So you're up to date with him in WWE. That's really all I'm.
Yes, yeah.
I had someone tell me he was a star before he came to WWE, and I'm like, I saw him in MLW. He was really good. He was really good. That's why I was excited to see him. But as far as the star, I don't think he was presented in this way. Again, I didn't see a lot of it, so maybe I'm wrong. But there's Obafemi. That's a terrifying man, and I thought that was the most terrifying man I'd ever seen until Jacob Fatu showed up for the Bloodline. That man, it completely changed everyone's perception of the Bloodline. Correct? Like, because everyone was like, "This Bloodline is weak sauce." And then Jacob Fatu shows up, and everyone's like, "Oh shit, these guys are savages." And it's like, nope, that guy's a savage. And the other guys are just hyenas that are picking the bones after that man's done eating. So Albert, I'll ask you. You've been watching since the 80s. Have you ever seen someone that is just so terrifying like Jacob Fatu is?
The only
and if
thing
so, I know who they are.
Like the only thing that like I can compare it to is like when we first really saw Umaga. Because Umaga was like scary as all hell when he first debuted. The tribal face paint, like that whole like, and just being able to move and being that agile for somebody that size. Like I feel like he was like, the terrifying Tongaloa. Yeah, you're not kidding. But yeah, like that's the only person I could think of. But he's even scarier. Like he just. He's out of like the blocks, just one of the scariest looking people. The way his facial expressions and everything. I mean, Andy, I was gonna say he's like the second coming of Umaga, but he's even more agile, and he's even more like he's got even better ring presence, which is crazy because Umaga was so good, and he can talk. Like it's like everything you want out of somebody, it's right there. Like he's gonna be huge.
I project the moment he showed up, I was literally saying within a year he'll be either world champion or universal champion. I still stand by that. I think he's going to be the one that takes up. I think they're going to boot Solo, and Jacob Fatu is going to be the man. I think it's going to happen way sooner than later. That's what I think is happening.
They're sowing those seeds early.
Because I'm all for the slow burn when you got characters that need it. Jacob Fatu does not need it. He's one of those guys, kind of like Gunther, where he's there already. Just let him do what he does, and it's going to be magic. And man,
there's been a thought in my head, and I want to throw this out there. We've all been trying to book like the Bloodline story, right? It's who's versus who.
Yeah.
There's the chance that the WWE has signed Hikuleo as well, right? If that's the case, I mean, I think that they boot Solo out of there. Solo ends up joining back to get the legit OG bloodline against this new bloodline. No members of the old bloodline in there, and this complete fresh new group. And that separates can like kind of like I think that might be where they're going at this point because it doesn't look like Solo's going to be that, he's going to be the leader at like for a long period of time. They're already teasing Jacob being the guy. Cody's already calling it out. He's already, sowing the seeds of dissension. People online are already saying, man, Solo's falling off. He doesn't look anywhere near as, as terrifying as Jacob does. That might be where we're headed.
Yeah. So I literally had that same thought too, and it immediately broke my heart because we're not going to get to see Roman and Sammy hug in the middle of the ring, and I was really looking forward to that. I'm still holding out for it, but in case you didn't hear me, Benny, what's up, man? Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it, homie. Andy says he reminds me of a mix of Umaga mixed with Kamala. Man,
yeah. I mean,
I know people don't like saying the name, but I'm going to say it. I think he's Umaga with Benoit, and the Benoit thing is just the
intensity.
Yeah. I don't think there's ever been a more intense wrestler than Chris Benoit.
No, I agree.
Jacob Fatu is giving him a run for his money, and literally, we've only seen him wrestle like 4 times, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to give it a modern day comparison, I mean, I guess an Ilya Dragunov is maybe like the closest to a modern day comparison to it.
Yeah, I've always said that too. I just think Fatu's another level ahead of Ilya. As far as his presentation, and I know he's a Samoan, so he has that benefit to him. But Jacob Fatu, the sky's the limit for him in WWE. I think Ilya has like a glass ceiling. But let me look at some of these comments because they rolling in fast tonight. I appreciate Andy, man. That's really cool. See, we're at a better time, so Andy's able to join us. I really like that. That's cool.
I like that.
Yeah, I think that's all. I think that's it for Jacob Fatu.
Oh,
good. Tidy, you got anything? You got anything else you want to chit chat before we move on to something else, or before I pick another topic?
I'm upset that Bobby.
He said, "Dom, we ain't got that much time."
Whatever. Because
yeah.
Well, man, I love Bobby. WWE's fault and all this other stuff. Shit. Because like I know there's Brock Lesnar and then you got Gunther. Like these are 3 guys that, doesn't matter who they fight, they always have the chance to win, just based on who they are. Yeah. And you break up Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu just looks vicious. He's ready when he wakes up and goes to sleep. He doesn't care if there's blood all over his face. That dumb, but I would say Bobby, Brock, and Gunther would be the other 3 that I look at like, holy shit, you don't want to fight them. And lately NXT has been doing that with Obafemi. So
I was gonna say, don't be leaving out Obafemi now. Obafemi's
huge a beast.
It's terrifying. Brock,
he's the shit.
Yeah, Brock was always the top guy as far as like that's the one guy I don't want to run into in an alley and have beef with me. He terrified me. But if I look at one end and I see Brock and I look at it
quickly,
I'm going to go take F5 after F5 after F5 because I want nothing to do with Jacob Fatu. That man, here's the best way. He is true. Wolverine in a Samoan body. It's scary, man.
That's actually a great comparison.
I love him. I cannot take my eyes off the screen when he's there. He's one of those guys. So, and it dawned on me, a Jacob Fatu Gunther match.
That'll feed families.
Exactly.
Oh man, I love it.
It's like he's
Oba destroyed Hammerstone on
0 to 60. Jacob Fatu is running on 60 at all times. Like he is able to snap simply and easily. His demeanor is scary.
The moment he comes to the curtains, he's ready to kill you. And after he beats you, he's probably still wanting to kill you. Like he's Andy. I do not believe in Joe Hendry. I don't know about these other 2 guys, but
I believe in Joe Hendry
dramatically. If they do, Albert, he just sentenced himself. But no, I do not believe in Joe Hendry. I just don't. I'm sorry, which is crazy because he's the kind of guy I usually go for. But no. And I saw that Oba destroyed Hammerstone on Tuesday. That was very upsetting to me because I.
Thank you, Tiny.
Fuck out of here.
He's entertaining. It's exactly what I want.
He's
It's
worth a shot.
entertainment.
You know
I
what?
like that stuff.
If we're
That catchy kind of
gonna give
entertaining stuff
everybody
is
else a
right
shot.
there in my alley.
Here's what I'll say about Joe Hendry. He's Jey Uso to me, in the sense that I don't like Jey Uso right now. I just don't like it. It's just not for me. But he's over,
Come on.
and that's fine. I understand why he's in the position he's in. I'm happy for him. But I like the Jey Uso that was going after Roman. I don't like the Jey Uso now that's all like yeet, 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 yeet off the damn screen, bro. Go back to being a killer. That's what I miss about Jey Uso.
No. I'll stop that and give my perspective, because not everything is 4 plus 4. Sometimes it could be 3 plus 1. It's a perspective, a way of looking. It's good perspectives, even though a majority of the time, Jimmy, you are right. And I'm not saying you're wrong about this, but as someone who's dying for a good baby face, where Jay has come from, he's kept passion bottled in a different way. Way too Braun that shit.
Oh, he's breaking out big time.
The way he I know this shit. But anyways, I think he's got a certain kind of passion and how we speak that I think is still there. It's just not like I'm gonna get him like he used to be, but it's still there in a different way, and I love it.
My dislike for Jay isn't that I think Jay isn't deserving. It's literally just like he used to be vanilla ice cream, and I really like vanilla ice cream. Now he's Rocky Road ice cream, and I don't like Rocky Road ice cream.
I get it.
That's literally all it is. I
can't agree.
And you're not going to see me saying
I get it.
You're not going to see me calling him overrated or anything like that, because he clearly is in a position where he belongs, because everyone else loves him. Who am I? I'm one person out of millions. So I'm not going to run my mouth. That's not how this works. I just don't prefer him. And that's where Joe Hendry is with me. I feel like everybody loves Joe Hendry. And I'm like, huh? He just
I kind of get where you're coming from now. That makes sense.
With Jay, though.
If you put it in that way.
I think that we forget during the Attitude Era, when The Rock was as big as The Rock was, he would come out, he would shoot off a bunch of buzzwords. He wouldn't really even say much. He would get cheered more than everybody else, and then he'd go and beat up somebody.
Yep.
I think that's what they're doing with Jay. But when The Rock needed to turn it on, The Rock turned it on. And I think that when Jay's going to have to turn it on against Braun Breaker, where he can't just go out there and be goofy and smile and say yeet, Ron's going to go out there and he's going to look at him square in his eye and he's going to go, okay, you can say this all you want. I'm going to come there and beat your ass. Jay's going to turn around and he'll drop a big-ass good promo when he's going to need to. And then 2 weeks later, when he doesn't need to and he just has to go out there and be funny again, he'll go out there and say eat and be funny again. And I think that's what they're going to do with them. I think that they know what's over. They're going to let people, get their participation out of it, because that's one of the big things that we're missing about wrestling. There's no more of the New Age Outlaws or, Enzo and Cass, where, people coming out and, doing that stuff. I think Jay's feeling that void right now, and that's why he's so over. Instead of taking that off of him, let's add in the aggression when he really needs it. I don't think he needs to be aggressive 24/7.
So I liken him to what LA Knight does. I just think LA Knight does it better. That's it. That's what it is. You got me. I think LA Knight has more substance to his stuff than Jay does, but I think that's just literally by design. Like, I think you nailed it. The Rock was very simple, connect these dots, go home. That's it. And that's what Jay does. And he does it really well, obviously, because he's very popular. But where is this at? This comment. Bailey. We could talk about Bailey real quick, because we all love Bailey here. And Andy asks, what do you think is next for Bailey? Because he can't think of where to place her next. So, Tidy, I think you're the biggest Bailey fan here. So I'm going to ask you first. What would you do with Bailey right now? After the Tiffany Stratton thing, clearly. But
man, so get me up to date with Tiffany Stratton. Did Tiffany Stratton beat her?
No. So basically what happened is Tiffany Stratton is the reason Bailey lost the title. And then Bayley destroyed her Money in the Bank briefcase. That's why Tiffany got a new one. And then they took Bayley out. Or that was the briefcase happened before the match, correct, Albert?
Yeah.
It's like the go home show, I think.
Yeah.
And then Bayley returned at the last pay-per-view to chase Tiffany away.
It was on SmackDown.
It was on SmackDown. It was to help Mia Yim or Meechin, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Chased Tiffany away, and then Nia Jax literally sat on her in a trash can, which was an amazing spot. But now they're teasing like it's going to be Tiffany Stratton versus Bayley in a match. And I believe it's to put Tiffany over, which they should be doing. That's fine. But after that, I agree. I don't really know where she has a spot for. So if you have any ideas or thoughts on what you would like to see her do.
Yeah, I don't have anything in mind where I would see Bayley at earlier about she's already rise.
Albert. Oh, okay. Yeah. Teddy is hung up.
All right. So I guess real quick, I think that it's just to continue to put other. I think she's going to just be put into feuds with some of the other heels to kind of build them back up. Like I keep thinking Blair Davenport's a good spot, for her next. Yeah. She'll move on from Naomi, maybe do that. I don't know if they're gonna put Blair full time with the other witches, but I think that would be a good idea. They kind of.
I'm 50-50 on that one.
I think that
you're a robot.
But yeah, I'm thinking Blair Davenport. I think that maybe it's a good idea. I mean, unless I think that what's it called? Unless
who was that? Was that you?
Okay. All right, I think we're good now. Yeah.
Okay. I was like, that's way too much feedback.
Yep. So I was gonna say, unless they team her up with Naomi and put her in the tag division, that's the only other thing I can think of.
So, where is it at? Andy then says he thinks it might be a return for the Hugger. My only way I'm accepting Bayley as a return of the Hugger is if she goes back to NXT. I think the run of NXT is to help put people over because she can still win matches and put people over, and I think that's big. Yeah. I don't think she can stay on the main roster and just continue to lose because that hurt her last time. I think that's kind of hurt. It hurt her run because it was like you lost, and all of a sudden you were it kind of did hurt her a little bit. But I think NXT would be a great spot for her after the Tiffany Stratton thing. Try some new things, mix it up with some new people, and then maybe come back up with someone from NXT and do a tag team. Help the tag team division. I think that'd probably be where I would go with Bayley there. Jay's becoming a catchphrase, not a talent. I won't go that far.
I don't know if it's that far. I mean, Teddy's not here. Do you want to tackle this all in thing real quick?
No, because I'm gonna get way too negative about it. Honestly, I'll say this, Andy. Andy asked, "Do you think AEW went too far all out?" I think the syringe bit was too far. Would have been really pissed if my lad had been watching. Don't want to see him stuff like that. So here real quick. It wasn't for me, so I turned it off. And I only watched the tag team gauntlet last night because I wanted to see the Guns. The Outrunners win. And then they got robbed. So it's like, now I don't even know what I want to do with AEW. I don't hate what AEW does. I didn't like what they did at All Out. But I'm not going to be one of those people that boo-hoos and blah, blah, blah. It just ain't for me. So I'm just not going to watch it for a while. I'll probably tune into Rampage because that's usually where the Outrunners are at. And Outrunners are the shit. But I don't even think it was the syringe that got me. I think it was the bag that did it more for me. The bag kind of was like, ugh. But I really wanted to see the Swerve Page match, as WrestleBlade just put. They loved the Swerve Page match. I was into the Swerve Page match until they did the syringe. Then I was like, okay, sorry, I'm done. I can't do it. So that's my take on it without being crude. There it is.
There we go. I think that they went a little far, but I don't think that anything in there was overly egregious. Even the syringe thing, I wasn't even that mad about. It's the chair shot to the head that gets to me at the end of the day. Like, I don't care if they're gimmicked or not. The idea of what we know about traumatic brain injury from what we've seen is ridiculous. And I don't care. I just don't think there's a place for that anymore in pro wrestling at all. And if you're going to do it, put your damn hands up. I don't care. Like, I mean, it's bad enough he's got a syringe hanging out of his mouth. If he puts his hands up to protect himself from a chair shot, I'm way more okay with that. You know, people are still going to go, holy crap, he hit him in the head with a chair while he had a syringe hanging out of his mouth. Whether he put his hands up or not. Just protect. I just don't want to see anybody get hurt more than they have to. I don't even like the whole cookie sheet thing anymore. Stop hitting people in the head. So
my take on that, and then I'll get to the Outrunners again real quick because there's so much girth there. I don't care too much about the unprotected chair shots because there's enough information out there, and it's my take with the NFL stuff too. I hate that they've watered down the NFL with like the tackling and all that stuff and they're doing it to protect the players. There's enough information out there at this point that they should know, and they should be able to make their own decisions. Like, hey, I'm making a lot of money. Is this worth that money? And then make the decision based off that. Swerve clearly was okay with taking that chair shot. That's his business. What I don't want to happen is 20 years from now, him complain because he's suffering from stuff. And it's like, you did it to yourself. Do I want to see it every week? No. I think if you're saving it for a special occasion, like they did for this match, they really needed to go. They needed to push the envelope because of how amazing the feud is. He burnt the man's house down. He should have definitely done something, and I'm cool with it.
The cinder block and the syringe, I think, was far enough. I was cool with that. You know what I mean? Like,
they'd already done cinder block spots in their last match, though, so they had to
true.
Like, so I'm not gonna, as long as I'm not seeing chair shots like that every week, whatever. I don't care. As long as they're not being forced to do them. If they're cool with them, hey, just shut up in 20 years. I don't want to hear you complain. You did it to yourself. That's how I am with it. I don't like babysitting adults. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you there.
And Courtney says, I really thought the Outrunners were going to win. Let me tell you something. I spent all day, because after All Out, I said, I'm not even watching Dynamite. And then I saw the vignette for the Outrunners, which is incredible. If you haven't seen it, anybody, you need to. Tidy, I'm going to send it to you because you're going to love these guys.
Yeah, you will, Tidy.
And I was like, and it's in their hometown. I'm like, they're going to do it. And I thought, if there's any time to do it, now is the time to do it because the tag division is in shambles. It's a joke.
Oh my God. It is.
So why not give it to a new person or new team and let them run with the ball? Like, see what happens. Let's create some magic instead of just trying to just rely on the same teams over and over again. And then they didn't do it, and they gave it to a makeshift team. And I don't care that they used to be in a faction together. It was Mark Davis.
That was Kyle Fletcher's tag partner, yes.
Will Ospreay. So shut up, anybody that's saying that stuff. That's not true. Will Ospreay just wins everything. He's big dog Roman Reigns right now, in my opinion, and that's where I'll leave that.
He's lost the one match to Swerve, and that's it.
Yeah,
and that's my thing. Look, and the other thing is, why do we put titles on people if they're not going to defend them? If they're just going to go challenge for other titles, you could have put him in an international championship match against a singles wrestler on that show. If you want him to be on the show, that's fine. Put a real deal tag team. And, a lot of people, AEW fans are like being like, oh, I don't understand why people keep talking about Private Party, that they weren't like even contenders. Because there's a lot of people that watch AEW from day one that have followed them, that want to see them get their just due, that feels like they deserve to be at that next level. And if they know, and this is why I brought it up. That's why I brought it up, because I'm the same way. We've had this conversation before. I love Private Party.
And they're amazing.
And it's the only reason why they're not higher on the card has nothing to do with them. They're just not pushed, to be, like the first Dynamite, they beat the Young Bucks. Now it's 5 years later, and the Young Bucks are the tag champions, and they can't even be in the gauntlet to even get into a shot. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's bad booking. That's on the booking, and you can call out bad booking when it happens. I'll call it out in WWE all the time. I'll call it out here. There should be another real deal tag team in the ring with the Bucks there. They don't have to force Ospreay into that match. And if you wanted to have Ospreay in the ring with the Bucks, do it on Dynamite.
Hey. Well, they're going to do it at Grand Slam. That's a Dynamite. That's all it is.
But I know, but, like a normal Dynamite.
You could have done the Young Bucks versus the youngest men alive. That
That's
story
true.
writes itself.
I agree.
But
I
I'm
agree.
moving on. AEW's not on topic for me right now, just because again, I was enjoying it so much, and that just all out just kind of did it out for me. If you like it, enjoy it. I'm not pooping on you guys. It's just not for me, and that's all I can say. Alpha Academy, no more. It's American made. That's I don't even know if I want to talk about it, but I did say we would last. So we're going to talk about.
You're not a fan of the American Made name? Is that what it is?
It's not that. It's not that. I'll let Tidy go first here because I know he's a big fan of Chad Gable. This is one of me and Tidy's boys here. What have you enjoyed about his new direction with American Made? And if there's anything that you just haven't really been vibing with, what is it?
Well, I mean, what I like is just that how Dallas been on this whole Bray Wyatt act, and he's done such a good job by recruiting the right people. If it wasn't for that, I as much about made based on what I'm watching. Because also, you don't give a it's basically blasphemy, is what said. And I'm like, yeah, that's what Chad's been doing. He's literally turned on Otis and everyone else, and he's been bullying them and pushing them around. And then to see him go to American Made, I know enough about Ivy. Bad. I mean, that the Creed brothers, Chad Gable, because their characters still don't jump off the screen for me. It really doesn't. But I think Chad is really doing a good job as a bad guy, as a prick. And he's doing really good at that. And I already know he delivers in the ring.
Hey,
but
Russell,
if it wasn't
buddy,
for Bray Wyatt, the story of Bray Wyatt just dismantling them, and this is what they deserve. I love that stuff. With Bo Dallas taking up the mantle of Bray Wyatt. That's really all I got to say about it. I need to see how farther it goes over time. That's really it.
So overall, it's not clicking for you. Is that what I'm hearing? Like you enjoy Chad, but the whole package is kind of what the whole package ain't clicking for you.
The whole package ain't clicking. Love I just the Creed brothers.
The Creeds aren't popping.
I just think being assholes.
Yeah,
they're not exactly assholes, but they're trying, and I'm okay with see how farther it can go along.
Okay. Andy says nothing good is ever American made. Ha ha. Look at here, son. Wow. That's American made, baby. And that's beautiful. Albert, what about you? What is your take on American made? I want to know your one pro and one not so pro. I don't want to say negative because I don't want to poop on it. But something that's just not clicking with you. If there is anything that's not clicking with you, maybe it's just the most wonderful thing in the world and I just don't get it.
I really thought that this was going to be the WWE's way of booking a modern day version of Team Angle. I really thought that it was going to be like these three badass wrestlers that were going to go around and they're going to be like, all right, we're going to, we're more badass than you because we can out wrestle you and we can take you down and we can do whatever we want to because we're the best wrestlers, around. I thought that the Creeds were going to be more of a backup to Gable and then try to start, getting, looks into the tag division and go after the tag titles. And Gable was going to be the single star. I think the thing that stalled the American made thing out was starting them off against the Wyatt Six. I think I think that if they would have, given them the initial feud of it being he has to go one-on-one with Otis. He beats Tozawa. He goes one-on-one with Otis. Then his boys, him and his boys finally put American Alphas at the side or whatever. I'm sorry.
It's a better name.
It is. But he puts them to the side. Fine, and then they move into something else. Like, I think they really should have put Chad into like a good one-on-one feud with like a good like middle of the ground baby face that he can beat, and then make him more of a threat, and then we can maybe go into the Wyatt stuff. But right now they just don't seem like a threat because the Wyatts are such a giant threat that it's dwarfing what American Made can end up being. I like them together. I like them as a group. I think that as time goes on, I think they can get better. I just think we're off to a really rough start with them because they're being put against the impossible babyface group of guys who should not be baby faces, but they are because they're over. Like it's a very weird thing. It's hard to book sometimes when it comes to that because you got to get them out there.
So, I'm gonna say this. I think American Made is one of those things where on paper it was like, man, this is very exciting. It's very, very exciting. I just don't think it's clicked at all for me. And the reason I think maybe it's because I'm very emotionally invested in Chad Gable. I mean, we all saw it last year. I give me the paper and pen. Chad Gable's dethroning Gunther. And we almost had it. Yeah. And I look at where Chad Gable was a year ago, and I look at where he's at now. And if you think of where he was as far as like how he was booked then and how he's booked now, you would think he'd be better off right now, but he's not. I don't think I personally can see him as a heel. I don't buy him as a bad guy. Because he's such a good babyface. He has that quality to him that you look at and you're like, Heidi brings it up all the time with the underdog thing. Chad Gable has the underdog look, but he has the package of being a guy who can literally just kind of whoop your butt and do it pretty easily. And I think leaning into the babyface stuff was working for him because he'd never had a run like that with the Gunther stuff prior. I mean, as WrestleBuddy brought up, we want Shorty G back. No, we don't. That was the bottom of the barrel for Chad Gable. And then I feel like he was right on the cusp of doing something with that babyface run, and then they just pulled the rug out from under it, made American Made, and it's like, I think at some point we can't try to copy things that were successful in the past. I think sometimes we just got to leave them back there. And that's I love Chad Gable. I do. I'll watch him wrestle anybody. I think he's amazing. I think being fed to the Wyatt Six was just horrendous for him. And I miss the babyface Chad Gable. I truly do. And I don't even know if they've done the payoff to him and Otis because it's been handled kind of so like weird. Like,
I think they did. I think he beat him on a Raw, but
Do you think they have a
American-made
different outlet for Chad now, like going back to slowly being a babyface or more immediately?
I don't know where you go with Chad.
Kind of you screw over the Creed brothers by doing that in a sense. I mean, like they're all going to have a revelation. We need to stop being assholes. No, you guys were just being assholes just to be assholes. Like,
see, I don't even think they need to be assholes. I think if they just let them be wrestling machines and maybe they just take it a little too far, I think that's all you really need to do. I think being an asshole is just, it's too much. It's like, again, I like vanilla ice cream. I don't like Rocky Road because there's just too much going on in there. And I think that's what they've done. Like, it's just not working for me.
So there's no way to redeem technically those three. Ivy Niles always in my eyes. I already know that.
Oh, Ivy Niles great.
But it's like,
I think the Creed brothers look too much like a babyface.
I mean, they are. Look, I think that they are natural baby faces. I think they're the Steiners. I think they're the Steiners in the 80s. The Steiners were like this American-made, like Michigan, all-American team thing. You know what I mean? Like they were like exactly what you wanted out of like a babyface tag team in the 80s. And I think the Creed brothers are kind of the exact same way. They're like the Steiners. They're like wrestling machines that people want to just be like, yeah, let's watch them wrestle people and throw them around. It'll be a lot of fun. I think that they were fine in the Diamond Mine as heels. So I think that they can do it. Like when they were in the Diamond Mine, they were heels with Roddy Strong and everything like that. And they were fine. I think that they didn't need to be baby faces, but I think that they've leaned too far into them being actual heels. They don't need to be, like you said, they don't need to be like bad guys. They could just be wrestlers who are just really, braggadocious about how much better they are than you. Even if you beat them, they're still going to tell you they're better than you are. It's.
Or the thing that turned Otis from Chad is that Chad kept saying, like, take it that next step further, and Otis wouldn't do it. You can just have the Creed brothers be the ones that are like, I'll go a step further. And I think a lot of people were like, oh, it's cool if you look in the background, Chad's talking to the Creeds, and it's like, I do like Easter eggs like that, but I don't think at any point we ever saw them doing anything in front of the crowd that kind of showed them coming together. It was just one day they were there. It's like, why did they buy into this? Because they weren't that way before. I honestly see them as world's greatest tag. I think they're amazing tag team. I think they're just horribly booked right now. They're miscast.
That's what I'm saying. I think that they're going for that team angle thing, though, Benny. I think that's the idea. Is that's what they're doing. They're trying to make them like the world's greatest tag team. The thing is that Angle wasn't like this outwardly bad guy when because he wanted to be. Everybody just knew he was the best wrestler in the world. Sometimes he was kind of a dick. And that would be fine if that's what Chad did, if that's where Chad Gable was. But he's gone way past that.
Yeah. We'll move on from this. So I agree, Benny, as far as I think they're a great tag team. I just think they're. Andy says put Trump as their manager. That would be Nuclear Heat. Man, huge. We'll go to the last topic, and I wasn't going to do this because of how much I could spend on this topic, but WrestleBuddy just crossed the line that is unforgivable. And he says, we want to see Dom getting this makes me sick to my stomach to say this, getting a brutal beatdown by Ray. First, second, third, and fourth, and fifth, and sixth, and seventh, and eighth, and ninth, and tenth. No, we don't. 1 through 10, no, we don't. And I just want to go ahead one more time and pat myself on the back for this storyline is amazing. And Dom would live. This man's beating Ray whenever they get in the ring now because of this connection that Moi has put into the universe. So, Tidy, I'll ask you, sir, how have you been enjoying it since the last time we talked about this?
Liv and Dom Mysterio.
Dom?
It's in general, Dom is amazing. I love that tweet he did that he's the only heel that turned heel while he was a heel.
Yeah.
Like you only get that from Dominic Mysterio. And now let's go behind the curtain and start thinking, all right, well, we know in real life, one, he's married. We know this is people getting even near, big Liv crowd that was like, oh, we love Liv because she's gorgeous and all this stuff. But now Dom is going to pick Liv over Reaver and way more popular. So that off. It shouldn't have, because of who Dom is, like how they relationship on. It's been freaking brilliant. It was the best part the last 2 weeks that I was watching their interactions and how their chemistry together. This was the best thing for Liv, truly. Like you said last year, it was the best thing you said that can happen for Liv, and it really is. And
I was just trying to look out for the girl.
Dom is still up here. What's that?
So what? There was a chant. It was who's your mommy or something like that, or you don't have. They were saying something to Dom, and he was like, "Shut up," and they kept doing it. So this is how I know Dom is a step above so many other people, and he doesn't get the credit he deserves because he does the little things better than so many veterans do. He took in what they were saying. He looked over, he saw Liv, and he went over and gave her a kiss. He looked at the crowd and says, "What now?" And they shut up. That's how I know Dominic Mysterio is above so many other people. Yeah, buddy. Andy knows what's up. And just so you know, Wrestle Buddy, I love Dom, but I hate his mustache. It looks like a broom. It does look like a broom because ever since he grew that thing, he's swept his papa and kicked him to the curb where he belongs because he's a deadbeat dad. Albert, I'm going to let you take over for a second because I'm getting heated. What you been thinking about this storyline since the last time we talked?
I don't like how much I've grown to enjoy Liv Morgan on my television. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It doesn't make any sense to me. But I think that this is so much better for her. Look, I can sit here and talk for hours about praising Dom because he's done such an amazing job as a heel. I mean, every time, like my girlfriend will like kind of tune in every once in a while when we're watching, and she'll see and she's like, they still don't let him talk. Like every time I watch, they still don't let him talk. I'm like, I know. And she brought up a point. She goes, do you think that it's like going to get to a point where like it's going to like do him like it's going to be bad because they'll never let him talk? I was like, no, he's going to find a way to get to get it over it. And it's exactly like you said, Jimmy. He just uses Liv as a crutch, and then all of a sudden, he's able to talk again. And I think that in all the time that we've seen Liv Morgan, everything she's done, she has just tried to be completely forced. And I think there's a part of Liv Morgan that absolutely despises being that bubbly, baby face, Liv Morgan that she always was. Because I think that there's a very creepy side to wrestling fans. And I think that they're just this. Most male wrestling fans are fucking creeps. Excuse my language. I'm sorry. But
it's true.
It's the truth. And I think that for Liv to be as attractive as she is and to be as desired as she is, there's definitely a part of her that definitely has a large amount of disdain for some of the wrestling fan base. And I think that her being in this character lets her just take that venom out. And I think she's finally doing something where she feels natural. It's not forced. It doesn't, she's not going to like her catchphrasing and trying to like get things over. She's just her. And I think it's the best thing that she's ever done.
You're welcome.
Yeah, probably.
Because I remember when I said this, you were like, I don't think Liv has it in her, and I'm like, this is
I really didn't think she had it in her, and she's doing a great job.
She's doing a great job. Exactly what she needed. I'm glad it's worked out well for her. I'm glad Dom has killed it. Go ahead, Tidy.
I was gonna say I gotta leave in like 4 minutes, so let me draw.
Yeah, we're cutting it off here. This is
Dom. Was that?
Yeah.
I'll just talk. There's a big lag. But anyways, Dom first needed the Judgment Day to lift him up. Dom, in his own way, was such a pivotal character in the Judgment Day that he actually lifted them up to an extent, right?
Yeah.
Dom has now taken Liv, who was, I would give her like an 8.5, potential so high she could, and Becky helped bring that out of Liv, but she was still missing something. Dom just lifted up Liv, which shouldn't be happening, but that's how good Dom is playing his role.
Yes.
Will be a time when the crowd stops booming. He has so much potential at this point.
And
where when he goes babyface and he can make the crowd be quiet and he can actually talk, it's going to be huge. Right now, I love what he's doing, and I'm all for it. But dear God, Dom has been the MVP, the background MVP that people have not acknowledged. And years from now, they'll be like, man, did you see what he did with the Judgment Day? Did you see what he did with the NXT North American Championship? Did you see how he brought up Liv? Becky kind of did. Liv was still missing something, and there's this crowd like, man, we need more. Why don't y'all like her? And Dom did it. And that's all I got to say. That is huge kudos to Dom.
So what you just brought up is they're booing him now, and it's crazy, and it's loud, and all that. But then essentially those boos are going to turn into cheers. And it's very reminiscent of somebody that I said before, and I was laughed at horribly for it. They're doing the exact same thing with Dom that they did with The Rock. It's happening. And this right here said it first, people. If you want to know what Dom's going to be doing next, follow this guy. I know what's happening. I know what it is. And that's where we're going to leave it for the day. We're right under the hour mark is where I'm trying to keep it from now on. So with that said, we'll be back next week. We're going to be doing a positively awesome top 5 list. I'll have that list as far as what it will be probably by Saturday. We'll put it out there. We'll take some suggestions and then we'll read them off. But I'll send it to you guys too so we can all have our own little 5 list on this. And that's what we'll be going to do next week. And then after that, I think we'll do a superstar spotlight. We'll figure out who we're going to do. We're going to have some structure to the show now, everybody. So with that said, thank you for joining us on this little test run with everything new and finagled here. We got some new streaming service here, new channel.
And it puts up in my new pool.
So, yeah, hey, put a unicorn floaty back there, man. Go sit in the floaty next time. But so we will see you guys again next week. Again, this was fun. We'll be a little bit better and more organized next week. But thank you all for joining us. Everybody can say bye now or toodles and